Hi, my name is Tito, Sufesa Certified Master Technician, and these are 5 must-have tools for hot side equipment. The first tool we'll be looking at is a manometer. For hot side equipment, you're going to need a manometer to check your gas pressures. There's multiple ways to check gas pressure. You can check most of the time on a manifold. There should be a tap. Sometimes regulators have tap, but you should almost always have a tap for you to check your pressure. The reason you want a manometer is to ensure that you have the correct gas pressure for the application you're working on. Each unit has a specific gas pressure that it should be set to. There are a couple different types of manometers. You have your digital, which we have right here, and you also have a analog one, which you would have a long tube and it shows you the amount of liquid versus air that you have in there. When shopping for a manometer, you'd want to make sure that you look at reviews and check for longevity of the piece of equipment. Also to make sure that it's accurate and reading correctly. The biggest tip I can give for using a manometer would be make sure that you have fittings to tap into the correct system. You're going to want multiple sizes. Some of your gas tubing is going to be 3/8, 1/4 inch, 3/16, just depending on what you're looking for. You want to make sure that you have multiple size fittings to get into the system and check proper gas pressure. The second set of tools we're going to be looking at is a set of drills. The main drill that you will be using is probably going to be the impact driver. That you will use to remove panels, any kind of hardware from equipment. The impact function of it allows you to remove those and reinstall those without stripping or cross-threading. The major benefit of having your drills is to make sure that you can do the job as quickly and as efficiently as you can. When you're shopping for drills, you want to make sure that you find something that has a long battery life. Depending on the type of work that you'll be doing, if you have a lot of space, you may want to go with something with a larger battery. It'll be a little bit more powerful. On the hot side, I like to use something with a little low profile battery because sometimes you have to get into very tight spaces. I would always recommend that you have a drill on hand just to ensure that if you come across a piece of hardware that's stubborn, you can easily grab your drill and remove that without stripping it or causing any further issues. The third tool we'll be looking at is the multimeter. We use multimeters mainly to check voltage, incoming voltage or voltage within a unit. We can also use them to check amp draw, and if you have a multimeter that has the option of checking temperature, you can also have a temperature probe to check temperatures. I always make sure to have a multimeter on hand whenever diagnosing a unit. The main reason is you always want to make sure that you're checking voltage, your current, double checking on any kind of contactor or relay to make sure it's not stuck open or closed. The two different types of multimeters are going to be your digital, which we have 2 here, and then you have your analog, which we have right over here. When looking for a multimeter, again, always make sure that you purchase something that has some quality and has a name behind it. You're going to want to make sure that your tool lasts a long time because these are pretty pricey. The other thing to look for is if you're on hot side equipment or cold side, the temperature reading option is always great to have. Whenever you're using a multimeter, make sure that you're always double checking your work. Just because you have voltage on one side of your load doesn't mean that you have it on another side of a switch. Double check everything because sometimes you can get a false reading. The fourth tool we'll be looking at is a set of wire strippers. Wire strippers are used to basically strip wires. You peel off the insulation layer of the wire, pinch it down, pull it off, and then you have your exposed copper or conductor. You want to make sure that you have some wire strippers available because you can use scissors or a knife or something to cut off the insulation, but you're going to more than likely end up cutting off your wire and having to redo it over and over again. When shopping for a set of wire strippers, you want to make sure that you have something that's sturdy, semi-bulky, that can handle you pinching a wire and putting some pressure on there. There's also the option of getting the catapult style, which can do some of that work for you. A tip whenever using wire strippers, make sure that you turn off power before cutting any wire. The last tool we'll be looking at is a thermometer. In hot side equipment, you use thermometers for various different purposes. You can use them in ovens to check the cabinet temperature. You can check the oil temperature in fryers. Also within steamers and any other application, you will need different types of thermometers for each one. With thermometers, you can purchase a digital thermometer like this one, which has multiple applications. You have your surface probe, you have your fryer probe, and then you also have your oven probe. When shopping for a thermometer, make sure you shop for the correct type of thermometer for whatever piece of equipment you're working on. Again, each piece of equipment does use a different type of thermometer, so make sure you're using the right one. When calibrating a griddle, you want to make sure that you take the surface temperature on multiple points of the griddle top. You can use a surface thermometer such as this one. You remove this and simply place it on different points of the griddle top, and that will give you an accurate temperature. The bigger puck style gives you a bigger surface. It actually holds a little bit of weight down there on its own, and it gives you a more accurate reading. What you never want to use on a griddle is one of these guys. Your laser thermometer will read ambient air temperature, so you will get false readings every time.